Hello, awesome students! Welcome to our English class. Have you ever heard someone says, "My backpack weighs a ton"? Or, "The moon smiled at me"? These sentences may not be literally true, but it helps us imagine ideas more clearly. Let's try a quick activity called Guess the Figure. First, the classroom was a zoo. Yes, that is metaphor because the classroom is compared directly to a zoo. The leaves dance in the wind. What is it? Yes, personification because the leaves are given a human action. Great job! These creative expressions are called figures of speech. Let's now learn more about them. Our topic for today is all about figures of speech. First, let us have our learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, you are expected to identify figures of speech, classify simile, metaphor, personification, and hyperbole, and answer at least 8 out of 10 items correctly. Here are the contents that we will going to discuss. The definition of figures of speech, the types, we have the simile, metaphor, personification, and hyperbole, and assessment activities. Figures of speech are expressions that make language more colorful, creative, and interesting. Instead of using words in their literal meaning, figures of speech helps us express ideas in a more imaginative way. They are commonly used in stories, poems, songs, and even in our daily conversations. When we say something like "time flies" or "my heart skipped a bit," we are not speaking literally, but we clearly understand the meaning because of figures of speech. They allow writers and even speakers to show emotions and to describe situations vividly. Next, we have its purpose and importance. Figures of speech are important because they make writing more expressive. Instead of using plain words, they help writers show feelings, emotions, and ideas in a more powerful way. They also create a vivid imagery, that is, when figures of speech are used, readers and listeners can clearly imagine what is being described. This makes the message easier to understand and more enjoyable to read or hear. Most importantly, figures of speech engage readers and listeners. They capture attention, add creativity, and make language more interesting. Because of this, figures of speech are commonly used in literature, speeches, songs, and everyday communication. And now, we have the types of figures of speech. You may be wondering there are only 4 of them. That is because we will just focus into the 4 main types of figures of speech. We have the simile, metaphor, personification, and hyperbole. Let us now discuss the first type of figures of speech, the simile. A simile creates a comparison between 2 things by using the words like, as, or than. We have the first example. The desert was as dry as a bone. This sentence compares the dryness of the desert to a bone using the word as. Since as is used to compare 2 things, the sentence is a simile. The comparison helps us imagine how extremely dry the desert is. Second example. Her tempers were like an uncontrollable storm. Here, the person's temper is compared to a storm using the word like. Storms are powerful and hard to control. So, this simile helps us understand how intense her temper is. And for the third example, we have, he is faster than a speeding bullet. no one's faster than a speeding bullet. Here, we use than. Let us now move on to the next type, the metaphor. A metaphor creates a comparison by stating that one thing is another or that one thing does the actions of another. Let's have our example. The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. The wind is compared to a torrent or a strong rush of water. This does not mean the wind is literally water. Instead, the metaphor helps us imagine the wind as powerful, overwhelming, and intense. For the second example, her fingers dance across the keyboard. Fingers cannot actually dance, but this metaphor shows that her movements were quick, smooth, and graceful while typing. I know that sometimes simile and metaphor are a bit confusing, but always remember that simile and metaphor compare two things. The only difference is that similes use like or as, while metaphors make direct comparisons. Let us now have our third type of figures of speech. We have personification. It is attributing human characteristics to an inanimate object, animal, or abstract idea. We have some examples here. As I climbed the staircase groaned as if awoken from a long sleep. In this sentence, the staircase is described as groaning and being awoken. Groaning and waking up are human actions. Since a staircase is an object, the sentence uses personification. This helps us imagine the old stairs making noise as someone walks on them. For the second example, we have seaweed snatched at his legs as he tried to swim away. Here, the seaweed is described as snatching, which is a human action. Seaweed cannot actually grab someone, so giving it this human behavior makes the sentence an example of personification. This creates a vivid and intense image. And the last but not the least, we have hyperbole. It uses obvious, intentional exaggeration for emphasis, effect, or humor. It is not meant to be taken literally. We have few examples here. The first one, I've told you 1,000 times. The exaggeration emphasizes how often something was said, which makes the sentence a hyperbole. Next, I'm so hungry, I could eat a horse. Who could eat a horse? That's very big. Why do writers use figures of speech? Writers use figures of speech to make ideas clearer and more engaging. Instead of explaining everything directly, they allow readers to imagine and feel emotions. How to identify figures of speech? To identify figures of speech, you have to look for clue words like lie or as, or check for exaggeration, and even to see if objects are given human actions. Let us have our quick think aloud example. Please read. Thank you. What was the answer? Right, that is personification, because it is a literal device where a non-human thing like the clock is given human actions like screaming. It is to make writing more vivid, emphasizing the harshness or loudness of the alarm sound, as if a person were yelling at you to wake up. Real-life connection. We encounter figures of speech in songs, movies, and conversations. Knowing them helps us express ourselves better. As we come to the end of our lesson, let us remember that figures of speech play a very important role in making language meaningful, expressive, and engaging. Throughout this lesson, We learned that figures of speech go beyond the literal meaning of words. Instead of simply stating facts, they allow us to describe ideas, emotions, and situations in a more meaningful way. Now let's proceed to our assessment activities. Activity 1. Identification. Identify the figure of speech used in the sentence. The classroom was a zoo. The leaves danced in the wind. His voice is as soft as a pillow. I've told you 1,000 times, and time flies so fast. For the activity 2, you have to create one original sentence using any of the following: simile, metaphor, personification, or hyperbole. You can write it in your notebook. And for your last activity, we have the activity 3. You have to match the sentence to the correct figure of speech. The stars winked at me. Her heart is a cold stone. He runs like the wind, and I'm drowning in a paperwork. We have the choices below. And that's it for today, class. Thank you for listening.